All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we have episode 28 of season 3 of the Look-In series. Something I do at the end of each team season, where I go back, recap the team season, see what the future holds, and look into what this team is doing. Today's episode is on the New York Knicks. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. We upset a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all support on our channel, very much appreciated. Listen to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So today we talk about the Knicks. They were eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals the other day by the Indiana Pacers. First, I'm going to talk about the good things that happened with the Knicks this season. They made the huge trade before the deadline, or before the season started, sending away Julius Randle and DiVincenzo to bring in Karl-Anthony Towns. And that move paid off in the regular season. Karl-Anthony Towns had potentially his best season this year for the Knicks. You had him doing his thing. Jalen Brunson was doing his thing. You made a big trade also to bring in Mikal Bridges before the season started, trading away a couple first-round picks for him. And this team's identity kind of changed. We used to the Knicks being a gritty, defensive, type of team. This year, they're more of an offensive team. It's one of the best Knicks offenses I've seen in a very long time. They're scoring a lot of points, doing their thing. OG, Mikal, Josh Hart had a solid regular season. You had guys like, Deuce McBride have some solid moments in the regular season, all that stuff. And we get to the playoffs. They have a tough series against the Pistons that they beat in 6 as Jalen Brunson was just on another world. And then they upset the reigning champs. They upset the Celtics, come back from down 20 twice, and win that series. And a series that I think nobody thought there was a chance that the Knicks would have won that series, because in the regular season, they did not beat any of the top 3 teams with New York, Boston, or Cleveland. With OKC, Boston, and Cleveland. They didn't beat any of them in the regular season. They beat the Celtics. They go to the conference finals, and it's a very tough loss to the Pacers. You gotta, be happy that you were there. First time in 25 years the Knicks been in the conference finals. They got past a big hump right there. But I said it in my video against the Pacers, or my video where I talk about the Pacers going to the conference finals and that recapping the game 6. I've said it for a lot of games in the series. The Knicks, I feel like the Knicks really lost this series. This was a very winnable series for the Knicks in the conference finals, and just a lot of self-inflicted wounds. Turnovers were a big thing in this series. Turnovers were a huge part. The points off turnover battle was ridiculous going to the Pacers side. A lot of bad turnovers, foul trouble, especially Karl-Anthony Towns. One of his big things, his defense and his fouls, just not great. A lot of players just not stepping up. The Pacers just executing in terms of closing quarters. I feel like the Pacers closed out the quarters better 90% of the series. That game 1 was just heartbreaker. Up 17 in the fourth quarter, you somehow found a way to blow that game and lose that one in overtime. And that was really where a lot of people are saying the series was won and lost right there in that game 1. And now we head into an offseason with the Knicks, probably their most successful season in a very long time. But if they want to capitalize on this and they want to reach the next level, the Knicks might have to make a big move. The Knicks haven't really been one, or boo. Well, talked about this for the last 2 years. Like, when's the time the Knicks are going to make, the next move? And they made a big move by getting Karl-Anthony Towns, getting Mikal Bridges. They're really buying into the right now. This is the best team we've had in a very long time, and this is our chance right now. With the Eastern Conference, with the NBA kind of being wide open at this point, where we've seen the last 7 years has been a different winner every year. Like, this is our chance right now. And they've been capitalizing on it, which I respect. And I think it's time to keep capitalizing on it a lot more. There's been a lot of people going at, trading Karl-Anthony Towns, which I don't think is a bad move. Karl-Anthony Towns, once again, had a really good regular season. He had some great moments. But with him being your kind of rim protector in the interior, just not great. He's just not a great defender. Foul trouble is a lot, and especially when you have your 2-star players as Brunson and Towns as both. Brunson is a defensive liability, but people are going to go at Jalen Brunson because he's 6 foot, and does everything on offense that they're not going to give him a break defensively. And having 2 guys, your top 2 guys, be kind of not plus defenders, it's just not a great recipe for success, to win. So trading Karl-Anthony Towns might be an option, but I think it's only to get a superstar player. I don't think you just trade Karl-Anthony Towns just to trade Karl-Anthony Towns. But I think a superstar could be on the table with Kevin Durant and Giannis potentially both being on the market this offseason. I think it's time for the Knicks to go out and get one of those top guys. I really do think it's time to do that. They've been talking about it for a long time. Going out and getting a Kevin Durant, getting a Kyrie, getting a guy, but it's just never happened. Now with this Knicks team being as good as it is, with Jalen Brunson being a top probably 10-ish player in the NBA, like with the role players you have, like it's time right now. And I think if you have an opportunity to get a Kevin Durant or a Giannis, you do that. If Giannis is on the table, obviously you do that. Play McHale, Karl Anthony Towns, go put a package together to get Giannis. Yeah. Is it going to be the best package? I don't really know because the Knicks draft capital is not great right now with all the picks they gave up to get Mikal Bridges. But if there's a chance to get Giannis, there's a chance to KD, you do that because I really do believe this is the best. This is the best team the Knicks are going to have in a pretty long while. So I think right now, going out and kind of like what I said last video about the Timberwolves. Where it's like if there's a chance right now to go get a star, and you could put a package together to go get that, I think you do it. But besides from the star move, I think depth obviously is a big thing. With Tom Thibodeau teams, depth doesn't really, he doesn't really go deep in his bench. This is the first time we've seen him really go into his bench, and that was in the conference finals, where Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright, started getting minutes, and they actually were good in the minutes they got. So I think building out this team obviously is a big thing. Having more depth so that you don't run guys like Jalen Brunson. You definitely saw the fatigue, especially in Jalen Brunson. I feel like at the end of the conference finals, where besides that game 5, you didn't really have a you know insane series, and I think a lot of that was due to fatigue. A lot of that was due to Pacers defense, where Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard just beating him up on every single possession they could possibly get. So I think having some more depth pieces so that they don't have to run these guys into the ground and play 43 minutes a game, even in the regular season, would be nice. I think that would be a big thing because this depth this year was just not great. I mean, Shaman and DeLon Wright did a lot more than I expected them to, but I think definitely getting some depth pieces in there would be really big. And yeah, man, I think maybe getting more defensive centric guys. I think Mitchell Robinson had a really good playoff run. And I think capitalizing, having centers like that would be really big for the Knicks, especially with, Brunson being your point guard. You'd want a defensive oriented type of center. I think having Mitchell Robinson in there would be really, really nice. And maybe getting another big that could do similar things. It's tough because Mitchell Robinson is a guy that has been injury prone. He only played, I think, 17 games in the regular season. And he's also not a guy that you play 37 minutes a game because he just doesn't have the conditioning and all that stuff for that. So having another big, I feel like that can do similar things. I can just come in and block shots and rebound and do all the little things would be great. And sending away Karl Anthony Towns to go get another guy, that they consistently rely on along with Jalen Brunson, so that when Jalen Brunson has nights where he's getting hounded on the offensive end and just not being able to really get off and do the things that he usually does, having another guy that can alleviate that pressure because we saw in this postseason, like some of the offense, like I give credit to OG because OG tried at least, even if he did have some great shooting nights. McHale just was not great offensively in this postseason. He has some amazing defensive plays in that ball. He was huge. If McHale doesn't do what he does in the Boston series, they don't win that series. He has some big fourth quarters and great defensive plays to seal games. Obviously, he was good in that series, but in regards to offensively and what they wanted from McHale, he just wasn't really that. So I think if you could package him and Towns and maybe put in an offer for a guy like Kevin Durant, where for the Suns, I get a feeling that the Suns still kind of want to compete at some sort of level. And Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges are still really, really good players. Like Karl Anthony Towns is still an all-star. He probably did he make All-NBA? I think he may have made All-NBA this year. Mikal Bridges is still a really good two-way guy. So having those two in there would be really nice. And getting a Kevin Durant for the Knicks would be big. Yeah, man, there's a blueprint for the Knicks. There really is. And it was a really tough loss in the Eastern Conference Final. It was really, really tough. But it's not the end of the world because you were there. And now it's just about building this roster out to make it back there because I expect the Knicks to still come back next year, be a top 3 team and top 4 team in the Eastern Conference, still have a real shot at making it back to the conference finals. I really do think that, especially with Boston probably not going to be as good as they were. We don't know what's going to happen in Milwaukee with Giannis. Other teams like the Heat, are just not as great right now. But there's a blueprint, man. There really is for the Knicks. And, it's a great time to be a Knicks fan. You got this team. This is the best team they've gotten in a very long time. The most fun run. This run was really fun. I mean, in the Pistons series, with all the excitement going on, one of the closest series we've had this postseason, with Jalen Brunson being historic. Then the second round, where you come back from round 20 twice, you beat the Boston Celtics, where no one in the world thought you had a chance at beating them. Like it was a really fun run, and it's unfortunate the way it ended, in a way where it's kind of like, dang, like it's definitely gonna be one that they're gonna think about this entire offseason and come back next year and try to, improve on that. But I think some changes to this team are definitely in order, because I feel like once you get this far, it's time to really capitalize and buy all in. And I think they see, with Sham saying this might be one of the most craziest off seasons in NBA history, the Knicks got to get in on it. I think they really do. I think that's what's going to take this team to the next level, because you see this team was good, obviously, but there's definitely some things that they really need to clean up on. There's definitely some things that they need to fix and clean up on and all that stuff. And I'm very excited to see what they do, what Leon Rose and what the Knicks can really do. Because so far they've done a really solid job at putting this team together. Now it's about taking it to the next level, and we'll see what move is made to try to bring this team to the next level to try to see if they get back to the conference finals next season. Hey, that's good, babe. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so all support on the channel very much appreciated. You look up here. There's a playlist somewhere where you can check out the other episodes of this Look In series. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.